Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we return for weekend action, and we've got games all across Europe. We've got the Premier League, we've got La Liga, we've got the Serie, we've got everything that you guys want. So if you're interested in that, stick around, baby. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Balotelli, Aguero!
That's right, we are back, George, for some weekend betting action. I'll be honest, my card is a little bit light. We've got the final match day of Champions League coming up next week. We'll be going live for that one as well, either Sunday or Monday night. We haven't quite decided on that yet. Champions League, not good for us, George. Particularly you.
Yeah, I got Ofer, Dev. Ofer.
0
for
wins.
5. 0 for 5.
0
You would
wins.
think, I could take one of my dogs and have them, take a a coin or something over to a selection like Paul the Octopus back in the 2010 World Cup.
Sure.
And they're going to hit at least something out of 5 selections. Not me.
Yeah, you'd think.
0 for 5. Just can't even just throw a dart at something and hit it. No, just
No.
wrong. Just
It's
wrong.
actually, to me, it's just as impressive as going 5-0.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
It's
Yeah.
tough to do. It's
I mean-
actually kind of challenging.
Listen, there's money to be made either way. It's just, do you have the stones to fade my selections? Or do you back them? I mean, look, people could have cleaned up
Auto-fade.
if I was on auto fade. Yeah. So I'm the new, what's that guy? Trent or
Oh, I
I'm
heard
talking
about
about-
this guy. He's an NFL guy, right? His
I think he
whole
does
bit
all
is bad
sports.
plays.
I think he's
Okay.
all over the place. Maybe someone in the chat knows. Some of the comments will tell us. But there's this guy, and like as soon as he posts a play, everyone that has that play is like, "Oh fuck!" Like Trent's on it. Like he loses. I think his name's Trent, but that could be me coming soon.
And Jord, one thing for people who listened to our last show, I do want to bring up that we figured out what it means to be pipped. You kept saying it when you were talking about the Champions League table. You said, well, they could get pipped.
Yeah, only Arsenal, only Bayern could possibly pip Arsenal. Yeah.
And what that means is it's a reference to Wally Pipp, a first baseman for the New York Yankees in 1922. He lost his starting job to Lou Gehrig. Lou
Diseased.
Gehrig, one of the most famous players of all time, and never got that starting job back. So he was pipped. So now the phrase is, you get pipped, you get overtaken by someone else. So we did figure out the etymology of that, which was very exciting.
And it's actually more fun. I think I'd rather be Wally Pipp, despite losing the starting job. You're remembered for being able to pip someone, whereas Lou Gehrig's remembered for having a horrific disease that's now named after him.
That is technically factually correct, Jordan. But let's move on. Before we get started, guys, we've got a lot of matches for you. If you are following along, please consider giving us a like, a follow, a subscribe in your podcast apps. Hit the bells and the notifications and all the things. Okay, it helps us
Oh.
out. If you're in the chat, if you're watching this live, jump in and talk to us. We see that you're in here. And you got to chat in order to be heard, you know?
We see you. We see
We
your
see you.
thumbs up. We see you click the thumbs up. We appreciate it.
We
Now
do
let's
appreciate it.
chat. Tell us.
Yeah.
Look, I went 0-5. I could use some of your bets in here. Shape my thinking.
I did see at least one person in the Discord say, like, why don't they have us on the podcast? Fair enough. Well, you can get on the podcast by getting in the chat. Anyway, I've talked about it enough. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's get into it, baby, because we got a fun matchup on Sunday. It's Arsenal against Manchester United. This one sees Arsenal as home favorites of a full goal, -1. Total is set at 2.75. Jord, Arsenal to score twice, -175. Manchester United to score twice, +275. Shows you the bookies are thinking this is probably like a 2-1. Arsenal getting that full goal handicap. They've been imperious this season. 7 straight wins No losses in 12 straight. But Manchester United, now with Michael Carrick at the helm, pulled off a win in the derby last weekend. They didn't have to play midweek. Arsenal traveled to Italy, and now they're hosting United. So what do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Well, Dev, the first thing that jumps out to me, as you highlighted on the card here, Arsenal minus 175 on the money line, also minus 175 on the team total for over 1.5 goals. Same exact price there. And that's not necessarily interesting now, but it will be a couple matches from now. I'm going to point something out about another selection I have based on the market. Dev, look, you said it. Arsenal coming back from Milan here, where they were able to avenge their hard done by result from last season against Inter when they lost 1-0 despite being vastly better in the match. This time they took care of business against Inter. 3-1, I believe, was the final score. And on the other side of this, as you say, the Michael Carrick era has begun. Actually, I guess it's his 2.0 era. He was there briefly as an interim before, but this will be a longer tenure, even if he does actually leave at the end of the season. But look, he keeps getting results like he did in the Manchester derby. They might be forced to keep him around a little while longer. And it wasn't a smash and grab. I mean, they battered City in that match, which maybe isn't that hard to do now that we see what Bodo Glimt were able to do, picking up their first win of the season in the Champions League against Man City, of all teams. So, yeah, City in trouble. We'll get to them later. But United here, can they keep the new manager bounce going? Was that all it was, a new manager bounce? I don't know. Crowd was up for it. They're backing the players. Team put in a good performance. They're obviously playing for this guy. So I think maybe they approach this with a similar attitude here where they have nothing to lose, really. They're full goal dogs here. They're not expected to win the match. I think they can kind of cut loose and just see what they can do against this team. They will take confidence from just completely dismantling Man City, who were, at least before that, Arsenal's closest title challengers. That may have gone now. But yeah, Dev, I didn't really want to mess with the result in this one. I think Arsenal probably do win the game. I don't think they have as many flaws as Man City at the moment. So I think they do win the game. Don't want to mess with the side, though. I did look at that +1 for United, but I've elected to go a different way here, Deb. You see that both teams to score, yes, -134. I like both teams to score in this one. Look, we know Arsenal very good defensively, but they have been leakier of late, and not like leaking a lot. They concede 1 usually if they concede. But in the last month, they've actually only kept 1 clean sheet in the Premier League. 2 clean sheets in the Premier League. That was against Liverpool and Forest. Both of those ended 0-0. But otherwise, they've conceded in these matches. Had a 3-2 with Bournemouth, the 4-1 with Aston Villa, 2-1 with Brighton, 1-1 Crystal Palace. Sorry, that was in the Carabao Cup. And then, of course, Inter got on the score sheet as well, but that's a stout team. I think United, like, playing their swashbuckling brand that we've seen in 1 game sample size under Michael Carrick, I think they can get on the score sheet here. And even under Amorim, this might be a stat that you find shocking. Man U have actually scored a goal in 14 of their last 15 matches in all competitions. So they're good for a goal, and they even were under Amorim when the sky was falling. So
yeah, they've got the firepower, right? And Buemo back now. He seems pretty solid for them.
And Ahmad back as well.
Yeah, and Ahmad in the good graces, right? He was sort of pushed to the side under Amorim, and United fans are crying out, Amorim, what are you doing? Or was that in Mainu? Mainu. Yeah, Mainu. Thinking of Mainu. Back I'm sorry.
Midfield. Yeah, because, yeah.
I mean, look.
Dorgu as a left winger, too, is quite good. Let me give you my play here before I fully pass it. So I'm going both teams to score, but I'm greedy. I need something better than -134. I'm tacking on under 5.5 goals to it to get the price down. The reason I'm doing that,
6-0.
Yeah, exactly. Reason I'm doing that, no Arsenal match this season, including preseason, has seen more than 5 goals. So cue up the first one of the season for Arsenal. And the price on that is -105.
Yeah, that's a good price, Jordan. I mean, I think we've seen similar versions of this brand of Manchester United before, right? It's what Solskjaer did. It's what Erik ten Hag was doing. Is we want to be the best transition team in Europe, and they play on the counter, and they're pretty good at it because that's sort of how the squad was built originally. Amorim comes in, tries to do something different, sacked him. So now they're back to Carrick being there, and they're playing the same way. I mean, City in that game you mentioned that they did lose in almost every statistical category except for possession, where they had nearly 70%, 68% possession here, and only put up 0.45 xG. So what's Pep doing? I don't know. They're susceptible to teams who play the low block against them. I don't think Arteta is going to be as gung-ho about keeping possession and overloading in the front areas for United. So I do think that goes towards the under, you were saying. But I do think Arsenal are a different class. I think it's easy if you're Manchester United, you get an interim manager, you're at home in the derby, you got to get up for that game. Now they got to turn around, they got to go to North London. It's not going to be as accommodating. And I just think this Arsenal team are very, very good. They rotated in the midweek. You had Gabriel Jesus get a couple of goals. You had Gyökeres finally score like a screamer. The first one that wasn't just some like weird fumbled tap in. He actually like blasted it into the top bins, yeah? And that'll do wonders for both of those guys' confidence. And if they can get them firing, I mean, this Arsenal team is just scary. So I'm going with Arsenal again. I looked long and hard at that -1. -103, the free hit. If you think they win the game, but I could totally see them doing like a 2-1. Basically, you look at the team totals, right? Over 1.5 for Arsenal, -175. Over 1.5 for United, +275. So the bookies think this is 2-1. That's what I figured it'll be. So I'm going to go with Arsenal on the money line, parlayed with under 4.5. I only got to 4.5 to get a good price. Here is -115. So similar, Jordan, we both think this game won't be too high scoring, though. We sort of teased that number up on the total. So be wary. But if you were just going to take a singular play from this that you want to tail us, go with that under. How can we both lose? Let's see. What would it be? Well, you need a 1-0, lose it for you. So 1-0 United.
1-0 United. Yeah, for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, that would lose us both the bet. So let's that's a score line we can't have. So go ahead and put that in your exact score.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Right on, Jordan. Well, let's move on to another matchup. This one also on Sunday. It's Newcastle United against Aston Villa. This one sees Newcastle as home favorites of 0.5 goal, and the total is set at 2.75. Jordan, Newcastle, big favorites in this one, right? -106 on the money line. Villa to win the game, +260. Weren't we just talking about how Villa were challenging Arsenal just a few weeks ago for the title? I mean, what happened here?
Yeah, we were. Although you and I, or mostly me, I was the old man screaming at the sky that this Villa team are fraudulent. They can't keep getting away with it. Just having these terrible numbers and just wildly overperforming their expected metrics. Seem to have cooled off a little bit. We thought a regression was coming. We talked about it a lot. We talked about it in the Discord. We talked about it on the show. And we've had a little assistance because off the pitch, they're having some issues now as well. Emery's getting a little feisty.
Getting handsy. He got handsy with Tielemans today.
Yeah, I heard. I didn't see, but saw some musings about it. But yeah, they won that game though, right? They
did 1-0
against Fenerbahce. So Emery a few months ago was saying we're not challenging for the title. It's a false position in the league. We're not challenging for the title. Now he's like, we're not challenging for Champions League. we're just Europe. That's all we're doing. He's like wants to keep expectations where he knows the data are actually reflecting them. But he's pissed, man. His whole midfield is injured. They're out for this.
Yeah.
McGinn's out. Camara might be out for the season. Onana's out. Ross Barkley's out. I'm not sure anyone cares about that. But I mean, as a backup, he's out too. So, next man up, we'll see. But yeah, not great. And then you got to come to St. James's Park, which is a cauldron, and you got to play a physical, pacey, aggressive Newcastle team who are kind of feeling themselves. So, you know, I don't love doing this because Newcastle have been kind of up and down, and I've lost plenty of money trying to fade Villa, just waiting for regression to catch up with them. I think it finally has. I don't think the market has priced it correctly, especially given that gaping hole now in the midfield with some really key players missing. I'm going to take Newcastle on the money line, Dev. Don't complicate it. Minus 106 to get another win at St. James's Park.
Yeah, Jordan, I think that's not a bad way to go. I mean, it was a surprising line to me. I thought this would maybe be like a quarter of a goal for the home field advantage here. We did see Bruno leave their Newcastle's midweek Champions League game with a bit of an ankle turn, it looked like. So he might be out for this. And without him, I've watched Newcastle a couple times, and they are just devoid of ideas and creativity. Now, maybe it won't matter at all because they're at home, and we know at home they play physical, they press you everywhere, and it can be a real blitz. So how will the stand-ins hold up for Aston Villa? I mean, you like Tielemans, but if he's getting beat up by his coach, you know, is he going to keep playing for him? And then Unai Emery was like, he is like my son. So I don't know what that means. Some weird European
Not
thing.
okay to hit your son either.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cardinals, American football real quick. The Arizona Cardinals coach like accosted one of his players. He got fined like $50K for it. So, you know, I don't know. Shouldn't be shoving your players. Let's not also forget that Emiliano Martinez out for this one, George, for Aston Villa. So important what they do in goal, or at least he's banged up. It's hard to tell who's going to be starting these things, especially when they play midweek. The injury report is weird, so we don't necessarily have the exact starting lineup. So be sure to check lineups. I elected to stay off this one personally, George, because Newcastle just are so Jekyll and Hyde to me. They're much better to back at home. Villa, I don't know. They have the talent, and I just don't know who's showing up in this game, so I'm staying off it, Jordan.
You're staying off it, Dev, but I'll tell you who's not. Bob D in the chat. It's on Newcastle double chance and under 4.5 goals at even money to be safe. Yeah, it is safer, although I think if I were leaning on the total here, I would go over. I think you're probably safe that it doesn't get to 5 goals, but I would lean this to be a little more free-flowing, maybe a little higher scoring. Newcastle dealing with some defensive absentees as well, a little bit more makeshift backline. But yeah.
George, I thought you'd be inspired. It sounds like he's hand-wringing.
He is hand-wringing.
Just like you.
Absolutely.
He's teasing both sides.
As we saw, the return of the hand-wringer was not great.
We have seen over 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two. But George, let's go ahead and move on to our next matchup here. We're going to take a look at Manchester City against Wolverhampton. This one sees Man City as home favorites of 1.75 goals, minus 1.75. The total is set at 3.25. And quite frankly, I don't know where bookies are getting these numbers from. What is this? The City has been pretty bad, but Wolves have been worse. So what do you think about this matchup, George, with Wolves traveling to the Etihad?
Well, Wolves had been worse, historically so, for the first half of the season pretty much. But under Rob Edwards, we're seeing improvements, and he's at least stopped the rot. It may be too late to save them from going down. In fact, almost certainly is too late. But they're showing fight for him. They're playing in these games, and they're competitive. Unbeaten in 5 straight now. That's pretty good for a Wolves team who, again, were historically bad for a while in the season. City, on the other side of this, kind of going the opposite direction. No wins in 4 in the Prem, including the aforementioned battering they took at their crosstown rivals in Man United. And then the bizarre trip in the midweek to Bodo Glimt, which we've talked about on the show. Look, tough place to go. It's weird. It's a small stadium. It's in the Arctic Circle. It's insane.
It's plastic pitch.
But, like, look, even Spurs got a result there. Okay? It was a draw, but City got trucked But like it wasn't like some smash and grab. They were dominated. Wild. So not looking great for City right now. And I think this is too much for a Wolves team who have literally nothing to lose by trying to go here and get something from the match. Look, they're plus 1,000 on the money line. They know that. They're going to come here and play with freedom. City, there's pressure on, right? There's pressure on Pep. There's pressure on the players. They're refunding their fans that made the trip out to Bodo Glimt. It's not great right now. The title is all but gone at this point. They better get their act together in Champions League if they're going to win some trophies this season, but that seems unlikely at this point as well. Are they broken? I don't know. We'll see. If Wolves get a result, it's really going to get weird. But Dev, Wolves don't have to get a result here. They're giving us almost 2 full goals on the Asian handicap, and I just think that's too much, Dev.
You're
looked
sick,
at that.
Jordan. You're sick.
Yeah, look, there are a number of ways you can go here. I don't think anyone right now is feeling confident laying minus 1.75 with City. Maybe they believe in the bounce back here, but I'm telling you, Wolves are improving. So, yeah, I looked at both teams to score, yes, minus 125. That was where I was for a while. Then it's like, well, maybe you take Wolves just to score a goal, but City are going to score. And if Wolves do score, I think there's every chance they cover the handicap. But it's even more likely they cover the handicap if I move it up a little more, Dev, and I get that full +2, which I found best price available at time of recording at minus 121 for the full +2. Let me tell you this, too. City have not covered this spread since December 20th against my West Ham United. But since then, they
another
have not,
relegation tag team 1 month ago. Okay,
that's right. They have
let's
not
forget their former head-to-head match at the Molyneux earlier this season. Jordy, got that score line in front of you? 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. But again, very different Wolves team and very different City team. So listen, they haven't covered it in over a month, is what I'm saying, except for Exeter City, where for some reason Pep played Holland. They
Weird
won
choice.
10-1. Yeah, and now he's complaining that Holland's exhausted. Well, maybe bench him in a game that you don't need him for, where you win 10-1, you clown. So, yeah, the only time they pushed this result in the Carabao Cup against Newcastle 2-0. So that would have been a push. But, hey, push is a gift at the end of the day, especially when you're coming off of an 0-5 on your own personal card from a show. So, hey, why not? Throw something against the wall, see what sticks. Wolves +2, minus 121.
Come on. I love a dog, Jordan. I love a big dog. It would be cool. I could see Pep doing weird shit in this. Starting Marmouche, like benching Holland. Just doing strange things. I'm not touching this game. I looked at maybe taking like Holland to score and City to win. It was like Holland to score is like minus 225. He's due. He hasn't scored in 7 games. It's like an insane drought for him.
Wasn't there a stat earlier you were talking about? He's due if he doesn't score in 2 games.
Yeah, this is like the longest. This is one of the longest droughts I think of his career without scoring.
That is wild. Maybe he is exhausted. Pep, like you have Marmouche back now. Like do something. But
well, the bookies think he's scoring in this one, and I did see to have him score twice is plus 130, plus 150. I forget exactly the number, but it was somewhere in there in that like 15 range. So might be something to look at. But no, Jordan, I'm not touching this game. That's too sketch.
Insane price for 2 goals. Plus 150.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, it's plus money. And then I was like, wait, this is to score twice. This is a crazy price.
I just want to point out, Saturday, December 13th, not that long ago, Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. So they have traveled to better teams.
Yeah. Well, sure, Jordan. I wish you luck. That one taking place on Saturday. But let's move on, Jordan. We've got one more Premier League game for you, and it's Crystal Palace against Chelsea. This one sees Palace as home dogs here of a half a goal, and the total is set at 2.75. Jordan, we've seen a little bit of Chelsea under Resnior, whatever his name is, their new manager. Crystal Palace.
Rossinier or Rossinier. I'm not sure if they go with the French or if
how
it's just
French
been
you want to be
Englishized
about it.
now. Yeah,
very English sounding. person though. And Crystal Palace, they sell Mark Gahey, and then Glasner's complaining about it. Some people in the media were saying Glasner wants out. He was trying to get fired, and Palace's response was like, "Well, you still have a year on your contract, so we're not firing you. Just keep him in there."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. If he was trying to get fired, they'll be fine. But look, this is a London derby. And what do you think about this matchup, Jordan, with the Blues traveling to the Palace?
It feels like a trap to me, Dev. It feels
Oh.
like a weird one. Yeah, Chelsea coming off in the midweek a labored performance where they did eventually get the breakthrough. And look, it was coming, right? They were dealing with Paphos in a low block, eventually got the breakthrough, took care of business. So the Rosenior era has gotten off to a pretty good start, small sample size, but it's doing okay. Enzo Maresca was also doing okay, but he had issues with the board, so it wasn't really about what was going on the pitch. Dev, yeah, Palace not in a good way. Mateta asking out now. Gahey went for 20 million. He gone. Glasner's pissed about it. Do you know they only have 14 senior players available to him?
That's nuts.
The rest are academy players. Wild. So that's a problem. Like, come on, Palace. You guys, you sold Eze. You sold, who else did they sell?
Elise a few seasons ago.
Yeah. So plenty of money coming in there, but they did not really reinvest. And especially when you're getting into Europe, like you're going to need more than 14 players. Just really short-sighted. I see why Glasner's frustrated. Dev, I think Chelsea probably heap a little more misery on Palace right now. They're kind of talentless at the moment. They just don't have the guys, and the guys they do have want to leave. They miss Munoz in a big way. We talked about that since he went out. Like the whole attack has changed, but it feels tricky. I don't want to take Chelsea as a, what are you showing me there, Dev? You're flashing your titties.
I'm showing you my Colombia kit.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're talking about Munoz.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Jordan. I mean, look, Palace, they're banged up. Chelsea, I'm just going to be looking to fade them at every turn. Once I saw this Liam Rosenior quote where he said they asked what his job is about, and he said, "Well, just take a look at the word manage. Man, age. My job is aging men." Did you hear that?
Oh, I heard it. No,
Yeah.
I heard you
Insane
say
thing
it.
to say. Oh, you heard me say it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not something I made up. So we got Chelsea's coach over here aging the men, which I guess fair enough. Their squad is a bunch of children. But I think this is going to be a pretty cagey match. I think this could be a low-scoring one. We've seen these two in their last 3 head-to-heads have all been draws. They've all been under 2.5. We saw both teams to score in 2 of them, and one of them, the one earlier this season, was a 0-0. So I expect an under in this one. That's what I'm going with here. I think Rosenior has been pretty cautious in the way he's set up through the games I've watched this season. They play out of the back, and they don't take a ton of chances, right? They try to stay solid defensively. Crystal Palace, what other choice do they really have here? I think Glasner wants that, is to sort of sit back and let them come on to him. He'll pick his moments to press, of course, this Chelsea back line, but I have a hard time seeing this becoming like a shootout. So I think the 2 3/4 here under that -114, that's where I'm going to go. If it does get to 3, you push half the stake. So that's where I'm going, Jordan.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, Deb. Absolutely. I still can't get over the fact that he said that. It sounds like AI to me. It sounds so David Brent, like the most David Brent thing ever. Just like manage, yeah, aging man, like
Yeah.
So, or maybe Arteta. Like if you watched Arsenal All or Nothing, he had some wacky comments like that.
At least he's got like a second language thing going on,
Right.
Senior
right.
sounds pretty solidly English. Aging men, yeah.
Even more David Brent.
Chat GPT coach. David Brent, by the way, people probably don't know this, is the equivalent of Michael Scott on the British version of The Office.
For those who don't know. Yeah.
For those who don't know. Well, Jordan, let's move on. That's going to cover it for the Premier League this week. And we're moving over to La Liga. We're taking a look at Villarreal Madrid That's Villarreal and Real Madrid playing here at the El Ceramico. I learned when I had called Villarreal the Yellow Submarine. That's the team's nickname, but the stadium is the Ceramico. So they're hosting here Real Madrid. Half a goal favorites at home. Half a goal underdogs at home for Villarreal, and the total is set at 3.25. Jord, what are you seeing in this one?
Well, Dev, this was the card that I was talking about when I tried to point out earlier that Arsenal were minus 175 on the money line and minus 175 on the team total over 1.5. Take a look at Real Madrid here. Team total over 1.5 coming in at minus 163.
Whoa.
Money line, even money. So, listen, the first thing I thought before I saw the lines in this was I'm taking Madrid to score twice. Look, there's probably goals in this. It probably comes from both ends, right? Both teams to score, yes, minus 225. The data scream goals in this, right? Individual data, head-to-head data, both teams to score and over 2.5 pretty much constantly for these teams. But that was the case, too, when I took them last time out, Villarreal against Real Betis. I took both teams to score and over 2.5, 2-0. Red card to Villarreal late. Didn't happen. So, irritating. But I don't think this Real Madrid team are going to be denied. I think they get on the score sheet twice. And if they do, I think it's probably enough to win the game. There's a chance this gets crazy and it's like a 2-2 draw, score draw, something like that. But I'm actually going to back what I'm seeing from Madrid right now. They've been pretty good. The Alonso sacking, again, similar to Maresca, I think more about off the pitch stuff and, brass interactions rather than what was actually happening on the pitch. They've been pretty good, Real Madrid, and they look pretty good still. Mbappe, in the form of his life, the guy's a machine. He might have 2 goals in this match. I think it's fair enough. I think, again, if they score 2, they probably win. Maybe they don't. Whatever. If I play it on a book where you get the early payout, if they go up 2-0, that could happen as well. So I'm taking Real Madrid, even money line.
Okay, Jordan, it's not a bad shout. I like where your head's at. I stayed off of this one. I got to see more from Madrid. I want to know what's going on. I think when they brought in Arbeloa, their new manager, and then immediately crashed out of the Copa del Rey, I was like,
that was a weird one. Yeah,
that's weird. And that freaked me out. So I've kind of stayed off them, just watching, taking a look at their matches, seeing what's going on. They win against Levante in La Liga last weekend, but they were getting booed at halftime by their own fans. So a little sketch
home
there.
Fans booing you?
Yeah, home fans booing you. They ended up winning 2-0 and then annihilated Monaco in the Champions League 6-1 in the midweek. But Monaco, like, what the fuck were they doing in that game?
They're sinking.
They showed up like, oh, this lot can't hurt us at the back. Let's just go forward like it's a Bundesliga game. They got absolutely cooked.
Villarreal, nice
I don't
see,
think will
Mastantuono has arrived finally. Club World Cup star.
We had to dye his hair, bleach his hair blonde again. Made him better.
Now he stands out. Yeah, he looked great in that game. What's his first name? Marco?
Franco.
Franco Mastantuono. Fun to say, Mastantuono.
He scored a goal and they were chanting, Franco, Franco. And sort of frowned upon to chant the former dictator's name in a place like Madrid. But so there was some controversy there. Yeah, Jordan, I just want to see more from Madrid before I'm backing them in any way substantially. I wouldn't mind goals here. You mentioned that there's a lot of data backing this up. When these two teams meet, we've seen both teams scoring and over 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 8 meetings. Individually, it's very similar. Over 2.5, both teams scoring, and 5 of the last 7 for Villarreal, and over 2.5, and both teams scoring in 5 of the last 6 for Real Madrid. So
I do want to throw out as well that if you wanted a hand ringer play on this, and you do agree with me that Real Madrid probably scored 2 goals in this, and you take that minus 163 team total and parlay it with Mbappe anytime goal scorer, or I'm sorry, Mbappe to score or assist, that's close to even money as well. I think it's minus 108. So a lot of ways you can go with that.
Yeah, not a bad shout, Jord. Well, in the chat, we do have Jacqueline, our number one fan. She says, "Hey guys, great show. Honestly, one of the best podcasts that I watch." Well, it's probably one of the only podcasts you watch, Jacqueline, because you're our most loyal fan. We do appreciate it.
Well, I have to say too, our network, the Hooligan Soccer Network, they tell us that people are watching podcasts. Okay, we had to get on video
yeah.
here. They're like, "Hey, this is the future," obviously as well. That people are watching these things; they're not just listening to them.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
true.
need you
They
guys
keep
on
telling
camera.
us. They love telling us we got to be
Shout
on
out
camera.
Gary Stryker.
Yeah. Longtime fans of the show know Gary. So RIP. Just kidding. He's alive. All right, let's move on, Jordan. We're going over to the Serie. We're taking a look at Roma against AC Milano. This one's lined as a pick. More juice on the Roma side of this at home, and the total is set at 2.25. Jordan, these two teams doing quite well. Let's see. I believe AC Milan's second in the table, and Roma is fourth. I'm going to double check that while I pass this over to you. What do you think about this matchup? That was correct, by the way, second and fourth.
Indeed. Yeah, this, boy, it just fits the bill of all those Serie A matches that we are so tempted to bet on, because it's like the big match in Serie A this weekend, but it's going to be lined at 2.25. It could be 1-0, it could be 1-1, or it could explode into a 4-4, and we just don't know which it's going to be. More than likely it goes under, and it's gross and it's hard to watch, and you're excited because it's like a late kickoff in isolation, and it's two big teams, and it's going to be trash. So yeah, I'm just sick of it. Sick of wasting money on this league, and I passed on it.
Somebody's salty. Somebody went 0-for-5 in the midweek.
Yeah,
George, listen, Serie A has not been kind to us. People in Discord are calling it Serie ass because it's been so bad. At least it's a different kind of football. Calcio, as they call it. But George, this Roma team picked up a new piece that I'm pretty interested by. It's Daniel Malen from Aston Villa. He's playing as a lone striker, number 9 up top. Gasparini specifically asked for him. He saw something in him and he said, I think this guy can play as a lone striker. He's been crying out for a lone striker since he got to Roma. Evan Ferguson, shit. Someone I was rooting for it. Young Irish lad, wanted him to do well. Hope he does. But yeah, then they turned to, and then who's the other guy? Dovbyk, Ukrainian guy. He's been in and out of the lineup with injury. They bring in Daniel Malen. In his first game, he's got like a shot on target within 20 minutes. He's linking up play between guys like Dybala on the wing, and he ends up scoring in the game. In his very first game, he could not play in their, I believe they're in Europa League. He couldn't play because he's not registered yet, but he will be in the knockouts for them. And I think he's going to hit the ground running here. I think this could end up being a scoring match, Jord. Look, both these teams actually have the players to score. Pulisic's back healthy. Leao is playing up top for Milan. Now, look, last time I said this, it might have been this game. It might have been this exact match because this ended in a 1-0 to Milan in the reverse fixture earlier this season. That was on, it looks like, November 2nd. So I very well could have been on that match and wanting either both teams to score or an over. This is lined at 2.25. If you take over 2.5 goals in the match, it's plus money. But the numbers are pretty damning. Under 2.5 goals, 5 of the last 6 Roma matches, 4 of the last 5 Milan matches. When these two teams meet, though, we've seen both teams score in 8 of the last 10 head-to-head meetings. So that's where I'm going here, George. What's the least amount of goals I can have on the board and still cash a bet? And it's both teams to score, yes, minus 110. That's not totally true. If one of the teams were to score and you had the money line or something, that would be better. Less goals. But yeah, I think both teams can get on the score sheet here. Roma at home. I really thought about just taking the over 2.25, but I don't see it being like a 3-0, maybe 2-0. But I do think there's every chance both teams score here. So I'm going to go with that, George. Both teams score, yes, minus 110. I think with Malen in the lineup, this Roma team could score some more goals. That's what I'm banking on here, George.
It's possible, Dev. They also brought in another exciting signing, this wonder kid that they got from Marseille. Marseille were reluctant to let him go. Robinho Vaz. I'm not going to admit that I've watched the kid. I just know that one of my favorite podcasts that I watch on the continent talked about what an exciting prospect he was, and he could really bring some problems to Serie A. 18-year-old forward, looks pacey, powerful. I watched a little highlight thing on YouTube of him. He's a problem. So
Well,
maybe
for
that's
the
what
name
Gasparini
Rubinho,
needs.
you got to be pretty
Right.
good to be named Rubinho.
Yeah.
Jordan, let's move on. We've got one more matchup for you guys. If you made it this far, please give us that like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified every time that we do drop a new episode, that we do go live, because we got a lot more soccer coming the rest of the year. And don't forget, big World Cup coming up at the end of the beginning of the summer.
It's the biggest
Jordan-
World Cup, the biggest one we've had yet.
Huge,
Literally.
absolutely massive World Cup. Let's move on, Jordan, and it's over to Francois with Ligue 1. Ligue 1 McDonald's, technically, is the full name there, Jordan, and it is Marseille, the aforementioned Marseille, hosting a Racing Club de Lens. And this one sees Marseille as home favorites of a half a goal, and the total is set at a flat 3. Jordan, De Zerbi, is he a good coach? Is he not a good coach? He can't get out of his own way, especially not in Europe with this Marseille side. They struggle in the Champions League. Of course, I backed them to cover a half-goal spread at home against Liverpool, and they got destroyed. Lens, on the other side of this, the unlikely tops of Ligue 1 at the moment, and now they're traveling to this Marseille team. What do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Well, it should be a good one, right? On paper, two of the best teams in France going head to head, right? What's not to like? Lens riding a double-digit unbeaten streak into this one. Actually, might be a double-digit win streak. Processing.
It is.
Yeah,
10 wins.
10 wins on the bounce. So great form. It's no fluke that they're at the top of the table here. Marseille, as you said, De Zerbi having some issues on and off the pitch, falling out with the board as he's done at other clubs as well. I like that Lens are getting 2 outcomes in this one. I'm getting currently the best team in the league getting 2 outcomes here because they're on the road against a Marseille team who on paper should pose the threat and have every chance of winning this game. But, I believe the Lens thing is real. I mean, it's kind of styles make fights going here, right? Because you've got this forward-thinking, attack-minded Marseille team whose strength is definitely their attack. It's the way De Zerbi plays. But Lens are kind of doing it with defense. Now, the numbers aren't too crazy. Marseille have scored several more goals than Lens have, but the concessions aren't too different. I think Marseille, not necessarily stout defensively. They do it by keeping the ball and attacking, and that's how it keeps the ball out of their 18-yard box. Lens actually much more organized and playing with purpose to defend. So it should be interesting. But I just think in a match like this, at the top of the table, when you're getting 2 outcomes, you can't look past that, especially if you're getting statistically the better team at the time. So the other thing I factor in is I like that Lens have not played since their last Liga match, whereas Marseille did have the midweek game against Liverpool, which was a tough one for them. As you mentioned, the 3-0 loss there. They were at home, so they at least don't have to travel, but Lens have been prepping for this while they had to deal with that international embarrassment for the world to see. So could Lens get something out of this? I think they can. Lens plus a half a goal on the Asian handicap -121.
Jord, I like where your head's at here. I like that play, Jord. I think it's smart. I like getting the dog 2 outcomes. You mentioned the rest advantage that Lens are going to have here. So I think that's a smart play. I stayed off of this because I pretty rarely ever bet on Ligue 1 because it scares me. Lens have kept 3 straight clean sheets in the league, and 4 of their last 5 across all comps, they've kept a clean sheet. So could be an unders one in this one. And if you like unders, you like a dog. So I wish you luck with that one, Jord.
Well said, Dev. Well said.
That's going to do it for all of our matches. Jord, before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, Dev, and I've been doing it a lot lately because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
All right, Jordan, well, let's go ahead and throw up our official plays for the podcast. We'll read them out for those listening, and you can see them on the screen if you're looking at the YouTube here. I've only got 3 plays, Jordan. I went light because we got that Champions League next week. I think I'm going to be going. There's some spots I like there already. So I want to be a little more cautious this week. Some stuff's just scaring me on the board, but I'll get to the plays now. Arsenal money line parlayed with under 4.5 goals in the match, minus 115. Crystal Palace against Chelsea, under 2.75 on the Asian total, minus 114. Roma against AC Milan, both teams to score yes, and minus 110.
Indeed, Dev, indeed. It's so barren looking at the graphic over there, all that gray, just no text. But look, I went 0-5 famously, as we've mentioned quite a few times on this podcast. Maybe I can go 5-0 with these 5 plays.
Whoa.
Yeah, right. Arsenal, Man United, both teams to score and under 5.5, coming in at minus 105. Newcastle United on the money line at minus 106. I'm doing it. Wolves +2 on the Asian handicap as they travel to the Etihad, minus 121. Real Madrid on the money line at even money, my favorite price. That's got to be a good omen. And finally, Lens +0.5 goal on the Asian handicap at minus 121.
Right on, Jordan. That's going to do it for us. Any last words for the people?
I'll just say, look, as has been a theme of the show, it's tough when you get beat in these things, but make sure you're managing your bankroll so that you don't get down in the dumps even further than just feeling like a fraud. Because I manage my bankroll, I don't have to lose my mind and contemplate dark things. I just get disappointed for a while and then I shake it up. So make sure you're doing that. If betting's taking you farther than that, it's time to give it a rethink, take a break, figure something out. Manage that bankroll, bet responsibly. It's a key part of this. It's supposed to be fun. Sometimes it's not, have to say. But look, we appreciate everyone that tunes into the show, whether for, if not for the picks, for the entertainment, just for the discussion. Frankly, we do appreciate each and every one of you that's here live or after it's live. Doesn't matter to us. So thanks again. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial.